Hi and welcome to Kate's Space. I'm Kate. A quick face-to-face to say hi and just check in with everybody. I hope everybody's well. And a thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. And if you watch my videos, thanks very much for the support. Really appreciate that as well. Last time I talked to you face-to-face, I was just starting the Junk Journal July challenge, my first ever junk journaling challenge. And it's September and I've only just finished the last prompt, which was reflections, and I thought I'd do a flip through. So it's looking a little bit different. Oh, there we go. A little bit different to what it was in that first video. So if you're interested in my little journey through Junk Journal July, I'm a beginner with my junk journaling and my mindful journaling. So this was my first attempt and I really enjoyed it. I did it with my sister Jo and we both enjoyed it and now have a bit of a regular journaling practice going on, which we're really loving. And yeah, so thanks Meg from Meg Journals. If you pop over to her channel, you'll see all about Junk Journal July. And yeah, let's get into it. She's turned into quite a chunky little monkey from a quite slim little traveler's notebook size journal. Happens to all of us. Anyway, I've tied it with the sari ribbon. Some of these I think I have shown on my Instagram channel. So I made this tuck spot. This is this beautiful 49. Oh, actually this is a serendipity paper. Anyway, it's beautiful. I love that scrapbooking paper. I don't know where I got it. I've probably had it for ages. I just printed out the little prompts and tucked them in there so I could remember, and I'll actually just put them there so in case it's not obvious. So this was the first entry and it was basically welcome. I used a vintage envelope and some clusters, and just in here I just tucked a little picture of me. So that's the day I videoed saying I was going to do this challenge, and basically my hopes, you know, sort of my intention I guess around doing it. And basically my hope is that it will kickstart and cement a mindful, enjoyable, creative, regular journal practice into my day-to-day life. And I believe it has somewhat done that. I'm still really enjoying just making entries in my grungy journal, and it's getting really super fat as well. I guess I just have to get used to the fact that I do lots of layers, and so my journals are gonna look like this after they've been worked in. It's not a problem really. So the second one was highlights, and obviously we had just, I think it was maybe in May, spent some time with our whole family together, which doesn't happen very often, and Michaela and her partner had managed to come from the Gold Coast because the bubble had opened to overseas, and we just had a wonderful time all together. So that's me and my 4 daughters, and we had all the partners and my ex-husband, so the girl's father and his partner and my new partner. It was just a wonderful time. Botanicals, something I use a lot of, so I enjoyed just picking out. I've got some washi tape and a fussy cut, another sort of torn botanical there, something from a vintage book, and a little bit of stenciling. This one here I think I did up at Jo's. I went on a trip up to my sister's and to visit my parents. We didn't do a lot of crafting because it was mainly just a few days and just to catch up with my dad, who's now in a care home. This is the one of the ones that we did do, and it's called Details. And so my details that I chose to sort of focus on was the stitching. So here I've done a little bit of stitching on that scrap of hand-dyed paper. And I don't know if you can see it, but I did some stitching on the bee, which was my sister's idea, with some gold and 2 different embroidery threads, and I love how that came out. I do love doing stitching, so that was really fun page to do. Next one was vintage, and my sister had this beautiful vintage little card. It's not really a postcard, but it's old. And I loved the image, and she said, oh, why don't you use that? Because I hadn't taken anything much with me. So, yep, that's just that. A little bit of journaling behind there. minimalist, so yep, that's not really my thing. I'm not much of a minimalist. I'm more of a more is more kind of girl when it comes to my journals and crafting and things. Use some old sellotape here, a stamp, and just kept it really, really simple, and did some writing. This one is envelope, so I use this really old envelope here, and oh, is it? Yep, envelope. And I use this quote from Brene Brown about gratitude, and my plan was to just in here put all the things I'm thankful for, little notes of things I'm thankful for. I haven't actually done that, but that was the idea behind that. There's some more stitching and fabric and things behind there, and I think I typed this out on my typewriter. The next one was Wanderlust, and I talked about the travel that David and I have managed to do since we've met. And although this picture is from when we went to Melbourne, the pages are more about our trip that we did to Italy, which was the most wonderful trip. And yeah, just a trip of a lifetime. And actually it was around this time last year, well, this time 3 years ago, we were there, and of course the memories pop up on Facebook, and it's like, oh my gosh, that was just the most wonderful time. This page, I feel like it's a little bit unfinished. There's a pocket here that I didn't utilize, and the prompt was pattern. I have some beautiful old vintage patterns, and my plan was to actually do some journaling in here. Again, that didn't happen, but I love how that turned out. I sort of tipped that in and used this sort of altered paper clip to just clip it closed there. The next one was Trash to Treasure, and this is actually part of a box with this circle, was a part of a box that had, I think, a candle. Oh, it had an Ecoya car freshener thing in it. And so I kept the window, and I've just collaged it and then made a little collaged sort of tag with a fussy cut flower on it. Favourite supply at the moment, and probably maybe forever, is vintage wallpaper, which is quite cool because this is actually vintage wallpaper page. And I mean, I have so many favourite supplies, to be fair. Most of them involve vintage things, but I love using photos. I love so many things. But yeah, I just wanted to put these two of my favourite vintage wallpapers in here. This one here is in the garden. And I talk a little bit, not very much journaling here, but my favourite bird is fantails, and I have a little fantail in the garden who pops down and says hello to me when I go down there, and he's just so cute, and they're so friendly. I just love fantails. This is morning was the prompt for this one, and this is a picture taken on one of my morning walks. It was such an amazing morning. It was really misty, and you can't really tell from this, but that's Jet there, and we're walking into this beautiful mist, the seas ahead. Yeah, it was just a fabulous morning. So just a very simple spread there. Monochrome. I struggled with this one, so I kept it super simple. I had this piece of scrapbook card, and I fussy cut out this black and white flower. Layered, so from one extreme to the other. So I just went to town with this one. It's just like a vintage check, some textured embossed paper, a flower, tickets, just lots and lots of some old paper behind there. So lots of vintage paper behind here, and this rose die cut. The next one was borders, and the one after that was paint. I think I did something for paint and I did not like it. Maybe. So this border here is actually done with a stencil and some paint. So that I kind of included too, and then this is a punched border. So yeah, pretty basic really. Quote was the 18th. And I use another Brene Brown quote. It takes courage to say yes to rest and play in a culture where exhaustion is seen as a status symbol. Yeah, I really loved that quote, so I included that. Happy mail. I had pretty much, when I done this, had received an awesome happy mail from my sister, who'd gone through her wonderful supply of things that she has been collecting from what we call op shops here, or secondhand stores, or thrift stores. And this is a old book page, and some ruffle that she had wrapped it up in some of the, so that was some happy mail from Joe. Here we have collage clusters. I've done 2 collage clusters in each corner using wallpaper and old papers and a little vintage postage stamp. The next one, relax. I did a bit of journaling on this one, and also this is a photo of the sea, the ocean where I live. I know these photos aren't particularly great, these Instax printing photos. I use them anyway. I know they'll fade and won't look very good in years to come, but that's really not the purpose of this journal. It's really more for my own benefit. Again, I've done a little bit more sort of stitching on, and I guess you wouldn't call it embroidery. It's almost like colouring in with thread. Rachel from Roxy's Creation does it, and she's so good at it. But anyway, I enjoyed that. And some old sellotape repurposed there. The next one is textured, and I attempted to do a little bit of texture paste stenciling with some watercolour, with not very much success. And then there's another little texture paste one there. And it's a lovely Edith Holden page. I didn't do anything on the centre spread because it's just beautiful on its own. The next one was negative space. I did struggle with this one, excuse me. I did struggle with this one, and I basically took a die cut and cut it out. There's the actual die cut, and it's difficult to see, and I stitched it and sort of did some messy stitching on it. Yeah, not impressed with that one, actually. Don't love it. But that's fine. I'm okay with it. Sparkle, I used a photo of my beautiful granddaughter and some sparkly scrapbook card that I've had for ages, and almost threw out, but then kept it for some reason, and quite glad I did, because I got to use it for this page. Then photograph, and this is a photograph of my third daughter. She is a photographer, and she did some photos of me for my socials, and we got one of us together in her studio. So that's us photographed. Warmth, I just used warm, what I thought were lovely warm colours, and stencil is just beside it, and I just had a bit of fun stenciling with some oxide inks there. Haven't written anything. Growth. Oh yeah, mine are out of order. So this one here is growth, and I just use a little flower fairy that I've cut out, some Tim Holtz die cuts on a vintage French or Italian maybe, or French receipt, and then something from an 1800s botanical book. Yeah, that was my growth. And not sure. Oh, okay. Both of these were warmth. I see. It's a double spread for warmth. That must be thankful. Oh, okay. Excuse me, people. I did them all out of order, obviously. So that's thankful, stencil. This one's warmth, and I just love this image of these kids playing. I don't know. Beautiful colours, warm colours, and just a neat image. And then growth. Doodle, I am not a doodler. I used to doodle when I'm on the phone back in the day, on the phone for hours. I just did this kind of drawing here, and I cut this out. Very simple. And then the last one was reflections, which I've only just done. So it's been sitting up on my shelf, and I have just written some reflections on this journey of doing this Junk Journal July which is run by Meg from Meg Journals. And really, I guess I set out what I wanted to, which was to try and get a bit more confident and a bit more regular with my own journal and my own junk journal. So yeah, I feel pretty happy. I've loved this process, and I'm pretty sure that next July I will take part in Junk Journal July again, and this will go on the shelf, I guess. There's a few pages left, so I feel like I should finish it. I don't know why. It's not necessary. It's kind of like when you start a novel and you don't really like it. Not that I don't like this, but and then you feel like you have to finish it. It's a silly thing that you just put on yourself. So, but you know, I might one day just open it up and finish up those pages. Very simple cover. I did very little to that, except for just sealing it. Anyway, if you've watched to the end, thanks so much. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoyed that little flip through of my Junk Journal July. And if you didn't take part in that challenge, it's a great challenge, and you should really give it a go. And I'll see you again soon in the next video. Bye.